Wow, I'm not used to Google being so fast. I mean, they've been this. Okay, hello, hello everybody, and I applaud you, Google. That was really fast on Google time. I'm starting the Google Hangout, so that's really good. Other than that, was a really interesting. And Ileane, I think we'll have to save that for like another Hangout. Our 5 minutes late was, I'll call it a Googleism, not in a blame way, but that was funky. Okay, whatever that was, that was just interesting. Anyway, okay, so getting back on track. Welcome, Ileane. Miss
So
Ileane.
thanks for having me, Deb. It really has been interesting so far here, being back on Google Hangouts.
Okay, you are gorgeous. Do you know that?
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if enough people tell you that. I'm not just saying that. And by the way, you can watch all my YouTubes. I don't go around. Well, I suppose if I went around calling all the guys gorgeous right from the start, they start. But really,
Thank you, sweetie.
you are inside and out. That's why I thought of Miss Ileane first on this particular topic. Can you be called formerly? Could you be called like? Wait, I don't know if this is complimentary. I was gonna say Queen of Blab. You were doing so much on Blab. And by the way, guys, the topic as far as this is Miss Ileane's perspectives on, I'll say Blab because that's a more familiar term, but I'm gonna actually let you take over. I don't even know how to introduce your perspectives.
Well, for those of you who don't know about the site, it has been shut down and relaunched as Bebo. And so we all got emails after the site had been shut down for, I'd say, 2 months.
Wow.
And I'm just off the top of my head, I'll say 2 months, but it could have been a little longer. I'm not sure. And I know it was during the summer and we're at November 1st, but maybe last week they sent out these emails urging everyone to come back, which I thought was very ironic, being as though they shut down without any giving anyone any notice. So
I think ironic is a nice term. I was thinking something. Ironic. That's a nice term.
So what my friend Krishna Day, she's another live streamer that I'm really, always talking to about all these different platforms, and we're always comparing notes. She used to call me the Baroness, but I would never take that title, Queen, because it wasn't my platform. And this is what we all have to always keep in mind. And you guys, I know you hear it all the time. Just remember, when you're using these platforms, you are on rented land, and at any given moment, they can snatch it right away from you, which is exactly what happened in the case of Blab.
That is a good point. As far, you made two good points. As far as before we call ourselves kings or queens of anybody else's product, I suppose just and maybe this is what you're saying as far as you're implying too, that we should respect them, that it's their product before we say, hey, I'm the king of your product. But also that rented land, that, can I quote you? That is beautiful.
Absolutely.
Or I'm sorry, may I quote you?
You may.
Thank you.
And I got to be honest, it's not something that I made up. I listen to a lot of content marketing pros, and for example, I always listen to the This Old Marketing podcast with Joe Polizzi and Robert Rose, and this is a topic that always comes up with them. And Deb, are you still there?
I am still here.
Okay, great.
But I have noticed that my camera light has gone off.
You're going a little dark.
Yeah, I am still here. So those of you watching, I didn't turn into a black box, but I see that my red-haired thing logo's coming up. But you go ahead and keep talking. I will try to figure out how to turn my camera back on.
Okay. So about July of 2015, I found the site. Actually, I was on Meerkat, and there was a girl on there, a young lady, I should say, by the name of Lydia Madison, and she goes by Living Chic. And oh my gosh, I used to love watching Lydia on Meerkat. Meerkat is another platform that shut down. However, they let everyone know that they were shutting down. So I'm going to put them on my list because I took some notes here. And Lydia said, well, when I get off of this broadcast today, I'm going over to Blab. And that was the day that I went over and checked out Blab. And as Deb knows, and anybody who follows me knows, I became a raving fan. I was on there. In fact, I celebrated in July, I celebrated 1 year of being on cam every day,
Wow.
nonstop, of being on live stream and primarily on Blab. And yeah, it was nice. It was nice. It was nice that I was able to do that celebration before they shut it down in the middle of the night.
Did you capture that? Were you able to at least like download the video?
Oh, yes, actually, I forced, well, I shouldn't say it was like anything brilliant that I did, but you could tell by the way that they were not caring for the community anymore,
Mhm.
because in the beginning they were oh so caring and oh so,
Attentive or
wanted to be attentive. And then all of a sudden they just disappeared and just let everything just go with no support, no where. So the handwriting was on the wall. So I had already started exploring other platforms.
okay.
And so I had actually done my celebration on a different platform.
You were really ready for this one. Like you said, the handwriting on the wall, which is
Well, the
that's
handwriting
a
was on
good.
the wall. And for somebody who, like myself, who's kind of been around for a while, who has seen these kinds of sites come and go, maybe not necessarily all live streaming platforms, but for example, I wrote a couple notes of folks that I think when they shut down, they did it right. Okay.
Ooh, I'd love to hear this. I don't know.
Okay.
Like bonus.
Meerkat
Okay.
is one. They let people know they were shutting down. And there was a site called Catch, Katch.
Was it
That
.io or was it?
that no, it was .me.
Okay.
And Catch would record, keep all the recordings of your meerkats and of your periscopes. This was prior to Periscope letting you keep them. And Catch, I think they had given 45 days notice, and
Mm-hmm.
they emailed you like every week we're shutting down. Then when it got to like the last 2 weeks, you have 14 days, you have 13 days, you have 12
Mm-hmm.
to download all of your. So they gave more than ample time and more than enough notices. And in each email, they talked about how much they cared about the community and they were sorry that they had to shut down.
Wow.
Spreecast.
Oh
Spreecast. I've actually
wow.
been on Spreecast, I think even prior to Google Hangouts, or maybe around the time when I first got on Hangout. Between Hangouts and Spreecast was my first introduction to live streaming and live video.
Wow. Going through like memory, like, oh man, I forgot about.
Spreecast was a good one. And I had even looked at a couple other ones like Justin TV, but there was just too many commercials on there for me.
Mhm.
But, of course, I watched other people's content on there, who I followed at the time. And Spreecast gave, I'll say they gave 2 weeks, maybe a month notice.
Mhm.
So, and I don't know that they archived they did archive your stuff. So they gave you plenty of time to bring it down. And let's bring it back to today, November 1st, 2016. The other day, Twitter announced they're shutting down Vine. And they're telling creators that they have months. That could be 2 months. That could be a month and a couple days. But you are getting fair warning that the site is going to be shut down. We never got fair warning. People could just, like I said, like myself, could see the handwriting on the wall.
Mhm.
But you had to be there in order to see that. Say if you weren't somebody who was just active in the community, who was on the site, every day or every week, it's very possible. I mean, 6, 7 weeks after the site shut down, people were DMing me on Twitter. What happened? They didn't know
Right.
because they weren't around. They never got an email. And
See,
so
that
that,
could be me easily, even though I can see, you go around the block enough times, you can see where that writing on the wall as far as customer service, only if you know what the normal customer service level is. Otherwise, you just think, wow, they're not very nice as
right,
far as customer service. I'm not picking Blab. I'm just saying there's
mhm.
nothing to compare it to on that one. So that's a really good point. If you're not a regular user,
You missed a whole boat. You don't
mhm,
know. And if you didn't download all of your content, you may have lost content.
mhm.
Of course, I was urging people even the whole time, even when they were doing great. I was telling people, don't wait and download your stuff in batches every time, because they would send you an email when your show was over. And every time you'd get the link to the video and the audio, download it. Just download it right then. Put
That's
it on a
common sense as far as,
well, yeah, but some people are just like, look, I'm busy. I got to do another live stream. I don't
right,
have time to
right,
download
right.
the one from yesterday. I got plenty of time. I got forever.
Do you think that's because you and I, Ileane, as far as again, around the block a couple times, and we know that, like, I like how you said as far as rented property on that one, like, as Examiner. I know it doesn't fit in the category of your list, but Examiner went away, and I remember somebody contacted me saying, "Hey, what's the trick to download these?" And I said, "Well, if you actually had access, there's several tricks I can think of to download, but the difference is, I did it for every article, so I already had all my articles.
Right.
Examiner could go away." And I'm
Mhm.
not affected, but oh my goodness, these poor people that had 400 articles and 10 days to get them downloaded, and it was manual, from the source code.
Well, at least they had 10 days.
True, true,
Okay.
very good point. How long did Blab? What, a few hours?
They, Deborah, what I'm trying to say to you is they literally shut down out of nowhere. And I would say in the middle of the night, but for me, it was like 8ish. I wasn't on at the time. It was like 8, around 8 Eastern. So that would have been like the end of their business day, because
Mhm.
they're in California like you.
Right,
So it would have
right.
been like 5ish. They literally just turned, people were in the middle of their shows, in the middle of their hanging out blabs or whatever, and they just pulled the plug. And then the
Oh,
CEO put a post up on Medium and said, let's rip the Band-Aid off. We're shutting Blab down.
oh, that's right. It was on Medium. It wasn't even on
Well, they always
there.
blogged on Medium. They didn't
Oh,
have a blog.
okay.
They
All
always
right.
blogged on Medium.
I do remember seeing that, saying that's kind of an interesting way to let us know, but I didn't realize the time span, because I got on Blab because you were on Blab, and I love the platform, but it just, I do the weekly thing with Charles, and we talked about it, and we were like, hey, the format that we're using, the Google Hangouts, not because we don't want change, but it's just because the format worked better to use the Hangouts, so we did do the Blab,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah. And so that was one of the positive, because I had listed a little few pros and cons and the reasons
oh,
why folks went over there to begin with, because it was easier,
mm-hmm.
And as Deborah can attest to what we went through tonight with getting on, it was, but not saying that it was bug free over there. I mean, they had
Right.
their share of bugs as well, but it was easier to troubleshoot because
Right.
everybody just went to a link and that was it. Bam,
I have a
and
post out of this one, Ileane, out of what we went through the first 5 minutes. Like, oh, good. Now I have another post to write. As far as explaining that.
absolutely. You and I haven't had this conversation, but I've had this conversation so many times. It's just like, if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't be talking about this again.
Mhm. Thank you. I thank you so much for covering this.
Yes, yes. And so, just to backtrack for folks that are just tuning in, one of the reasons, like I said, that we went over there, that we liked it, and there was a lot of folks that went over there that came from Hangouts, where of course most of them are all back over here now, but then also because it was easy to embed, so you could embed it on your site. They had easy sharing options with sharing with Facebook. And they had a direct upload to YouTube. Of course, Hangouts, you don't even have to upload, but it was just, they had like a one-click thing where you
Right,
just
right.
upload and you could just approve your Google access and all that stuff. So that was simple.
Well, without being YouTube yourself, yeah, a one click, you can't get any easier than that.
Yeah, you know, and it was very connected with Twitter, which Hangouts is not. You know, Hangouts can't figure out what it wants to be because they don't know what they're going to do with Google Plus. Like they realize they can't get out and get rid of Hangouts, but they're just like, what are we going to do with Google Plus? Like so anyway.
I thought that was just me. I'm trying to post something on my business page, and I'm like, I can't find my I have my profile to post it.
Yeah, it's you know, that's a whole nother hangout. Exactly. And I don't even have the inside scoop on that one. But so now let's go to the cons and the reason why I am not going over to Bebo.
By the way, before you say that, I'm a Bebo virgin. Other than the fact that I thought Bebo was the company or term or British one for musician website, but I have not even looked at it. I wanted to be I know that phrase sounds weird, but a Bebo virgin before I talk to you, Ileane. I'm not sure if that came out right or not, but
okay, there's a little history.
Okay.
Your Bebo version. The history is that the main Monkey Inferno, which is headed by Michael Burke, he's the one who has the money, the financial support. They originally had a site called Bebo, and they sold Bebo to AOL, and then they got it back from AOL, but they sold it for like $850 million.
Wow.
Because they had so many users. And this is why they have such big dreams about what they want to do, because they know that they can get the users, you know, but they were not able to scale that with Blab because of a lot of reasons. And, you know, honestly, those reasons are not our problem. Those are their problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like they're not concerned about our problems, I'm certainly not concerned about their problems.
Right. That makes sense.
You know, their flawed business model or content distribution model,
or their infrastructure, or the whole,
Yes. And so, well, one of the pros that I mentioned earlier was that the, you know, videos were embeddable, and same way like Deb has this Hangout embedded on her website right now. However, that's also a con, because guess what? When that site shut down, guess what happened?
Oh my goodness.
So if you, like I said, I was on there every day. So every time I wasn't my show and every time I wasn't recording, but let's say I have 150. Fortunately for me, I didn't embed all of those on my blog. However,
even half of those,
beg your pardon?
Even half of those, if you embedded them.
Yeah. And in fact, there was a popular plugin. Hani Mora had built a plugin that would import all of your replays for you onto your WordPress, so that it would just make it easy for you to blog. It imported all those chat comments into it and everything. So somebody built a website with nothing but their content from Blab, and guess what? You got a website with nothing but a bunch of holes. A black
like
hole.
Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Now, did that plugin, this is me being geeky, and I should just hold off because it's just a geeky question, but did that plugin actually import the video itself, like pulled the video over to the WordPress, which would be disastrous from the aspect of now your hosting fees are going to go up because you've got all that storage of all the videos, which are obviously larger, or was it more of an embed?
Honestly, I don't know how it worked because I stayed away from it, even though I love Hani. I think he's brilliant. And I think some of his other, like his podcast player, I think it's fantastic. He has something now that works with Facebook Live. You know, he's a brilliant guy.
Right.
But I stayed away from that thing like the plague because of the fact that when it comes to blogging, I like written content. Don't get me wrong. Of course, I love video. YouTube is my number one thing, but I don't think it makes sense to have a blog with nothing but an embedded video and comments. Like if you're not going to
Right,
write
right,
a blog post
right.
around your video, just leave your video on YouTube,
That
or
does make sense.
or now leave it on Facebook. You
It
know,
does make sense. I
I
confess I
mean,
do have one for the Web Tools TV that's just the videos, but it's just because I like the layout of that particular theme. But it's just videos. It's like a
okay,
reformatted YouTube.
all right. But I see, Deborah, you're a writer. You're a prolific writer,
Thank you.
and
Thank you very
and
much.
that goes without question. I just never wanted to encourage people who are just lazy bloggers, who've never written a lick.
Hmm.
And so in that sense, I was right by not
You
ever
are absolutely
encouraging.
right.
Because look, if I would encourage people, then they would be triply mad at me, because they'd be like, well, you had me go out and get hosting and register a domain and put all those blabs up on my site. Now my site is a bunch of crap, because that's what it is. No matter how good your videos were, if you weren't downloading them and uploading them to YouTube, or Daily Motion or Vimeo.
Hmm.
Even though I don't use Vimeo, but I'm not going to poo-poo them right now. I'm
That's a whole
poo-pooing
nother,
them.
that's another, what is that? 5 different hangouts of topics. I think we need, no, anyway, I'll let you
Okay,
keep going.
so we're on the cons now. I talked about that embedding thing. The next thing would be the time spent. So you spent, people say, well, it was free. Well, you can get your money back. No, you spent your time. And I just told you guys how much time I spent.
Hmm.
And I'm not the only one. I mean, people would stay on there all night. Normally, like I said, I told Deb, this is past my bedtime. Normally, I'm in, so it's just an investment of time. And at the same time, you're giving them your feedback. You're testing their product. You're being a
Hmm.
beta tester and testing their product and giving them your feedback so they can make a better product, but you're getting no compensation.
Right, right.
So there's that. So okay. So now let's get to not the big picture, the little smaller picture of like the actual features. There was trolls on that site and when I say trolls, people that come and try to derail your show, post
Like
absolute,
hecklers.
yeah, that would just come and just post comments about things that have nothing to do, put their links in, you know, all that kind of stuff. So then they had a discoverability issue, and you couldn't even find your own shows at times, because that was when they kind of just let the site languish, and you'd go on there and you wouldn't even be able to figure out where your profile was. So
Wow.
yeah, it was rough. It was really rough before things went. And then the moderation was limited. So in other words, let's say you did get one of those trolls or unsavory
Hmm.
characters in your show. You could put them out of that show, but they could continue to follow you and continue to come back every time you came on. You could not
You couldn't block
permanently,
them.
you couldn't block them or ban them. That was always an issue. Okay. And so then, like I said, there was a lack of support. At one time there was a time when things were good. You could just type "at help" in the chat, and the help and support would just come running. And then when they just see, they knew. This is why I have an issue with them not telling, because they knew that they were shutting it down,
But they
but
didn't give.
they never told the users, because they completely just stopped giving any kind of support at all.
And what I can't see, by the way, you know what? Your eyes are so expressive. And no, Miss Ileane didn't pay me to come on. I'm giving honest compliments. I like to give compliments and they are honest, but um I can read so much into your eyes, even earlier when it was like, okay, she's being really careful what she's saying word wise, but your eyes tell the full story of
It was disappointing, when I first got on there, and I was one of the first like real social media marketers to come on
Mhm.
there. And I just, like I said, I just fell in love with the platform. I thought it was really cool. And I wasn't even thinking about, like, can I turn this into a course or any of that stuff? I just like the community aspect of it. And I was told that, yes, we want to encourage podcasters to come over here and have their shows. And I went around to all my podcasting buddies, and they all brought their shows over there. Well, not all of them, because a lot of them were like, "Man, I don't even like the name." I remember meeting Chris Ducker at the AWeber Ascend conference last year. He says, "You know what I don't like about that? I don't like the name. I think the so there were some that did not come." But for the most part, a lot of folks like yourself
Mhm.
will say, "Oh, Ileane's recommending this place. I should go." So, and then at the end, they said, "We're not catering to broadcasters. We don't." And they just did a complete 360.
Now, I hope you don't feel like any of that involves you as far. I hope you don't feel bad recommending it from the
Oh,
aspect
I
of,
absolutely do.
oh
I absolutely
man,
do. And that's why when people ask me, "Are you going over to Bebo?" Hecky no.
not after what,
I
yeah,
take it very personal because the thing about being online and being on these platforms, everybody's got to remember it's about people.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
It's not about platforms. It's about community. It's about thought leadership. When you have people that follow you, you don't want to give them bad advice.
exactly.
So, I think it was Brian Fanzo I heard say, "You burn me once, okay, it's on me, but you're not going to burn me twice." You
So
know,
that's where you're prepared. You're not going to be burned that second
I mean,
time.
they didn't even in the email when they said, "Come check out people," they didn't even say, "We're sorry, about what happened," or, it was just like, "Hey, we got a new site. Come join."
It was really odd. I did not expect to get an email from them. I was just like, that's why I think when I sent you the email, I mean, I think I even said, was I dreaming? Did I, I'm a known, like, I'm not sleepy at night. So I get up, check the email, whatever. It's like, did I make this up in some sort of weird dream?
Mhm. And let me just say, for the folks that are over there that are enjoying it, I wish you well. I hope you have fun. I'm not trying to convince anybody to stop using, even though we're talking about this specific platform, this is a general conversation where the message that I'm trying to get to folks is, like I said, it's not about the platform, because even with the features, I was talking about YouTube because YouTube is really my number one, my favorite platform.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one of the things that made me get on camera. My online mentor, her name is Lisa Irby. Years ago, she put a challenge out to all of her subscribers to get on camera. And prior to that, I was only doing screencasts. I was never on camera.
See, I
And
can't picture that. I'm just like on camera. That's just like,
so back then, YouTube used to have this feature that I absolutely love, and I wish they would bring it back. It was called video responses.
oh, I love
So
those.
yes. So we all responded to her with our videos, and just about it's all the women were saying the same thing. "I don't know, my hair is not right."
That's why I do the purple hair.
I can't remember what the guys' excuses were, but anyway, we all had, but she encouraged us, and we all overcame. And guess what? We all followed each other, subscribed to each other's channels, and so forth, and left comments on each other's reply videos, and said, "Hey, I really liked it. I'm glad you did." You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but they got rid of that feature.
I wish they'd bring that back.
So
I don't,
this,
I,
I wish they would too, but they know they're trying to do something else that they only roll out to influencers, and that's okay. I mean, you got to understand the difference when you compare. I'm not trying to compare these two sites, because
mhm.
remember, YouTube is huge. Like, you can't even imagine how huge Like, YouTube is like so huge that you can't even see. And whereas that other platform is probably even smaller than my fingernails. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right. Right.
So but so
Fingernail
my
clipping.
right. So my point is, guys, about don't get hung up on the features and don't get hung up on the platforms.
Hmm.
Make your connections with people. Just like Deborah and I know
Amen.
that whatever platform we go on, we're going to connect. It
Yep.
doesn't matter.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. Oh
Facebook,
man, I love that.
right?
Connect with the people. Exactly.
Okay. So it's just my personal experience. And, I want to warn you, if you are using that platform, my personal experience is not to invest too much time into building an audience unless you're going to
Hmm.
try to convert those people over to your email list or making sure that they come over on your website or connecting with you on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Do that to ensure that you can take your community with you wherever you go, because you don't want to be in feeling that little gut wrenching feeling that we all had. We all had,
Yep.
they say it was 300,000 people came to the site. Let's say for real, let's say there was probably about 50,000 of real supporters who really relied
Really
on that
felt.
platform.
Hmm. Well, if your site's Swiss cheese and that's, oh my goodness, I can't.
Hmm. Yep. And so the other thing I will say was the glitches. And right now I think we're all ready for a technology that may not be ready for us. We want the glitch free technology. We just push a button and we can talk and go live and do whatever.
Hmm.
And all of them have glitches. Hangouts has it, not as much. Facebook has it, not as much. But there was a lot of glitches over there. And then, like I said, the broken promises. Oh my God, I don't know how many times people asked for the Android app. And they were like, is well at the beginning of the year. And then, in January, then they moved it to, well, maybe second quarter. And then they moved that to, let's not even talk about the Android app.
I think that's again, I said I was Bibo virgin. I wasn't going to dig into this one because I want it to be all about Miss Ileane and Miss Eileen's view, but just from a peripheral standing back, I think the biggest thing that kept popping in my head was the trust factor, and that even when I read it, I'm like, well, I might check it out, I might write about it, I might, how to whatever, but I'm not investing in it as far as time.
Mhm. Yeah, go check it out and see what's over there. I understand it got some cool features, but don't invest, don't build your community there. That's my point.
Yep.
It's okay to go try. I mean, hey, it's technology, and of course, I can't stop you anyway. But I just want you to hear my voice in the back of your head saying, "Rented land."
Exactly, exactly. That is perfect quote. And you have such a beautiful voice to have listening. Good grief. I sound like I'm again, I'm not paid to give you compliments. Just see, you're
Oh,
just
thanks.
that wonderful that it just comes out naturally to compliment you, Miss Elaine.
Oh, Deb, that is so sweet of you. Okay, one more thing I want to say, Deb,
Okay.
before is that the other thing that I am seeing is that this treatment of creators. See, we're the creators, guys.
Hmm.
These platforms that come out, they are giving us these tools to connect, but really because they're trying to bring traffic back to their site and build maybe they're monetizing, maybe they're not, depends upon the
Right.
platform. Okay. But I don't want this to be a trend. And I want us as creators to stick together and know that we are the ones that have the value. Okay. And we need to be respected.
Exactly.
What happened was one of the first sites we all checked out was called Fire Talk. And then Fire Talk, all of a sudden, they got bought out or they merged or whatever. I don't know the details. Then they decided, oh, we're not going to give you guys the same features you had before. We're going to make tiers. but we don't have all the tiers yet. We'll tell you about the tiers. You know, it's like, okay, now you're just jerking us around.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
there's another one. There's another one that came out. Smile Time. Smile Time is another one that you can broadcast into Facebook Live. Now, I like Smile Time, but like I said, it's the trend of they want to keep things on their site, because when you're in the chat on Smile Time, the links are not hyperlinked. People can't click on the links. And
That's inconvenient.
they literally told me it's because they want to keep people on their site. And I'm like, that's ridiculous.
So you want to tick people off so they don't use it?
There you go. There you go. So it's just a trend that I'm starting to see, and I don't want you guys to get caught in it. Now, with that, there are two sites that I want to recommend because they do seem to have that high level of respect and regard for the content creators. And
drum roll.
The first one, you probably heard of it, is called Patreon. And as a matter of fact, I have a Patreon page, and Patreon is
that's right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because
I was going to say
you mentioned it in a guest post on my blog.
Yes.
And Patreon is recurring support for creators. And of course, you could tell it was developed by creators, right? Content creators. And, you know, people can pledge support to you per month. And, you know, they will support your efforts, whether it be for buying new equipment or, you know, getting a studio installed or whatever. And it could be not just the kind of content that we create, but artists, musicians, comedians, and, you know, and the like sculptors or whatever. And the other one is Busker. Busker is another app. Right now it's on Android and iOS only. You can watch the replays online, but it's going to eventually, you will be able to do it from your desktop as well. So Busker is another site where you can go. You can make tips, you can sell merchandise, and the focus is on the creators. So
that's needed.
Look for sites that are like that. And, you know, even with those two sites I just mentioned, if you see the signs, you got to like have that third eye there, guys, to look that they start to change, because you never know. These sites getting brought out every day, right?
Sometimes they're bought out and you don't even realize.
Somebody come along with $850 billion or $850 million, and who knows, the people from Patreon might say, we love y'all, but see you later. You never know.
Adios.
Right? No, and I'm just using them. I'm you know, I'm not picking on the Patreon because I love them. But what I'm saying is, when you see those signs, the handwriting on the wall, then that's when you back away. But you can always still download everything that you upload to Busker. You download it to your phone, then you could upload it YouTube or Daily Motion. I even uploaded something to Wistia, just because I wanted to see. Yeah, I just wanted to get fancy.
That's getting fancy.
Yeah, we can cover all those tools in another hangout. But, you know, guys, I just want you to, you know that you have value. Know that your content is valuable, and that whatever site you use, whatever platform, you want that value to be honored. And you can see that definitely with YouTube. YouTube has gone above and beyond to focus on creators. They've introduced the Creators Hub, where you can go and learn all about YouTube, how it works, how to survive, how to succeed on YouTube. They even have the YouTube Spaces. Look to see if they have that in your city. And I know they have it in LA, where you can go.
It's beautiful.
If you have 10,000 subscribers, you can go and record in their studios for free. You know,
even just saying you've done that is even just saying you've done it, even if you don't. I mean, like, we have our own studio, but hey, I'll go do that. That's no problem.
Right. And you get to meet other creators, you know, and then they're always holding contests, and folks can win, and then they can go into like these little mini camps or boot camps that they have. So they realize that, you know, we're the ones who are bringing folks to their platform.
That is a whole nother article. I'm envisioning an article based on Miss Ileane's wisdom on that one. That's, yes, wow. I think there's 10 different hangouts and 10 different articles. And they're not even necessarily the same thing. That just listening to you.
Yep. And, you know, and I just really want to impress that upon you guys, you know, like we all have creativity, you know, and express that creativity. Find that place that you can feel that you can express that creativity. But no matter what, always have your own website, even if it's just a page that just says, hey, this is me. Find me on Facebook, find me on Twitter, but it's yours. You know, I prefer now, if I have my way, you'll get a WordPress and then you can embed your content, but it's okay if you have to use something else because you just don't want to be that techie. But
even just starting out as far as your space.
Right. Have your own, you know, get yourself a domain. They only cost $10 a year, something like that.
Right.
So
not like the $70 or whatever it was years.
Yeah, right.
35 or whatever.
Yeah. And just start where you can. And, you know, don't let things hold you back from creating content, but you want to make sure that you keep that content safe.
Yep. Good job. Thank you so much. You brought that full circle. And as always, you know what? I'm gonna stop because I could take another 30 minutes on just singing the praises of Miss Ileane. And guys, if this is your first introduction to Miss Ileane, oh wow. Well, you know what? She's all over the web, but you can start by what? Basic blog tips. Should we start with that one, or do you want them to go visit you?
Or just, you know, on here on my YouTube channel, you know, because I have a whole series called Learn to Live Stream with Miss Ileane. And
I like that.
Right now we've got 4 videos in there, but on my channel, I have over 200 videos, guys. So I've been doing tutorials. I've been on YouTube since 2009. So, you know, like I said, this is not my first time around the block. I've seen these sites come and go. YouTube and Facebook seem to be the only ones that you can just about count on. But hey, years ago, I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts earlier today, which is Joe Pulizzi and Robert Rose. They have the This Alt Marketing podcast. And I think it was Robert Rose who said, remember when we thought AOL was the internet? Okay. Yes, dial up when you know.
I think I might be guilty at some point. I don't know.
Yes. Google was not heard of, nor was Facebook.
Yep.
And so, I mean, I guess AOL is still around somewhere, but who uses it? Netscape was your browser.
Oh my goodness. I taught classes on web design based on Netscape. Oh goodness.
Exactly. So guys, things change, and it only takes 5-10 years for these big companies. What they're doing smart, Facebook and Google's, they're diversifying and dipping their toes in all different kinds of markets, but everybody can't do that. But for right now, today, November 1st, 2016, those are the 2 that I would say try to make sure that your content is somehow being funneled into either one of those, and also your home base.
Article number 11 and number 12. Article, I'm literally thinking. I start whiteboarding the next article.
Okay, well, I don't want to get to unlucky 13, so I'm going to call it a night, sweetie.
Good point. All right. Well, thank you so much, Miss Ileane, for joining us. And I look forward to those other 10 hangouts covering other topics.
Yeah.
And you have a great night. And thanks all for tuning in. And we'll see you. I was going to say, see you same time. I keep saying that, same time, same place next time, whatever that is.
Whenever that is.
Exactly. All right. Adios.
Bye.